What's going on, everyone? Happy New Year and welcome to a brand new year, the 2026 edition of Movie Emporium's Most Anticipated. We, of course, look at the year coming forward and the most anticipated movies of that year. Okay, so 2025 was a pretty good year, to be fairly honest. I thought it really worked. There's some really good movies. I had to take a lot of stuff out of my top 10 because a lot of movies came in that were quite entertaining and quite unique. And of course, like my most anticipated movies of every year, this year will be no different when it comes to I'm going to miss stuff that hasn't premiered yet, that we don't know about yet. And I'm hoping for the best. Like I said, I don't know if all these movies are going to hit. Most of them probably won't. But you never know when it comes to the year as it is. So I'm going to look at top 10 films that you probably have heard of. Maybe some of you haven't. But it should be a pretty good year. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see how it stacks out. Like I said, Avengers Doomsday comes out this year, so we'll see how that plays out. Just a couple honorable mentions. We'll get into it that I'm intrigued by, but I don't know necessarily that they're going to make my top 10. Let's see. Clayface. I don't know if it's going to be any good. It's written by Mike Flanagan. It is in the DC universe. We'll see if it's any good. I don't know if they're really going to go as far as they should when it comes to Clayface and his character. He is one of my favorite DC villains, so we'll see. DC has been doing a pretty nice job. Supergirl is another DC movie I'm kind of looking forward to because I like, was it Millie Alcock or whatever her name is? And we'll see how that plays out. Just one more, Resident Evil, of course, from Zach Krieger. Zach Krieger has had really two good movies at this point. I don't know if he's going to knock it out of the park with Resident Evil, but I'm hopeful, to be fairly honest. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if that's any good. But those are like three honorable mentions. Just some things I'm kind of looking forward to. But my 10 most anticipated are an interesting collection of movies. Whether they're good or not, we'll see. But we'll start at number 10, which is... So Flowervale Street is David Robert Mitchell's newest film. It's from the director of It Follows. It has Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor in it. We'll see if this movie's any good. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's going to be any good. It's one of those movies where, you sit and go, can it be interesting like It Follows? Because It Follows was a really fascinating, really cool, probably one of the best animated or one of the best horror films I've seen in, like 20 years at this point. It's just a really interesting idea, set in the 80s, from the premise. I'm reading it right now. Notice a bizarre happening in the neighborhood. I mean, it could be really cool. It could be really bad. I think he did Under the Silver Lake or something like that, which I heard was not very good. But you have a couple good actors. You have a director who's very talented who created a great indie horror film. And I'll leave it at number 10 for right now. It could be like one of my favorite movies of the year. We'll see. But yeah, so number 10 is, of course, Flowervale Street. And that leads into number 9, which is... So Gore Verbinski is a director who hasn't done anything for quite a while, and I really like this trailer for Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. It's a very unique time travel story, which I love time travel movies. I don't know if this is going to be any good. It has, of course, Sam Rockwell in it. It has Juno Temple, who are very talented actors and actresses. It's just an interesting idea. It looks like a very cool offbeat type of film, kind of like in the, Luc Besson style, where it's just a very offbeat type of thing, kind of like anything he's ever done. It's just, I don't know. I really don't. It's coming out very early in the year. I think February or January, somewhere around there. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if it's any good. I'm looking forward to it just because I think it looks very creative. And, sometimes the trailers are much better than the movies, but sometimes they're not. So we'll see. So that is, of course, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Love the title of the movie. I think it's great. And it leads to number 8, which is... So... Leave it up to Ketchup Entertainment to pick up Coyote versus Acme. We've already heard that this movie's pretty great. It has, of course, Coyote taking on Acme in a lawsuit. That is a great premise to begin with. I give it a lot of credit. It's in my top 10 most anticipated just because the anticipation of this movie actually coming out. Now we kind of wish that Batgirl would come out, but at the point of this movie finally coming to fruition, finally coming out in, I think, August or September, I had to put it my most anticipated. It's just how it is. We'll see if it's any good. I hope pray it is. Obviously, clearly it has great word of mouth. And I pray for everyone out there who's watching this to go see it, because this movie deserves love. It deserves respect. And we need Looney Tunes movies. We need Looney Tunes animated features. We need everything from Looney Tunes, because similar to the Muppets, the Looney Tunes have been kind of on the outskirts of success for quite a while now. So at number 8 is Coyote vs. Acme. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great, but we'll see when it comes out. And that leads me to number 7, which is... So number 7 is a movie that I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be any good, but Andrew Stanton is directing 2 movies this year, which is I was actually surprised by. He's directing, of course, Toy Story 5, which is not my most anticipated, because I'm tired of Toy Story at this point. I love Toy Story. Toy Story 1 is my favorite Pixar movie of all time, but it should have ended at 3. They need new ideas. Elio was one of my favorite movies, as you saw, of last year. Coco, Up. I'm tired of these sequels, these requels. I'm tired of everything about it. Toy Story 5 doesn't need to happen. It's not that I hate Andrew Stanton, but he has a movie called In the Blink of an Eye, which is coming to Sundance, and it'll be on Hulu, I think, in February. I'm really looking forward to this movie. I don't know anything about it. I just, hopefully, from like the poster and from the premise, it could be very cool. I don't know. Like I said, we'll see when it premieres at Sundance, the reviews for it. But yeah, I'm hoping for the best when it comes to this movie. I think, Andrew Stanton's a very talented director. Of course, he's directed some of the best Pixar movies of all time, and I think he could do really well in the live action space. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when it comes out, but that's in a blink of an eye. But that, of course, is number 7 on my list, and that'll lead to number 6, which is... So Alejandro Inarritu is one of the most talented directors working today. He's, of course, with the Mexican 3, of course, with Guillermo del Toro and Alfonso Cuarón. Inarritu's films, for the most part, have been really good. I love, Birdman. I love The Revenant. Some other films he's not as well regarded for me. But this one, Digger, looks interesting from the first trailer. It's not really much of anything, but it's an apocalyptic story apparently, and it has Tom Cruise, it has Jesse Plemons. I don't know anything about it outside of the trailer, which was just a fun trailer, but it looks like a very much an Inarritu film, and with him and Tom Cruise, you could work magic. That's all I'm gonna say. So it comes out this year. I'm not sure when, but it does come out this year, and that's why it's at number 6. Once again, don't know much about it. Looking forward to it. Tom Cruise, good trailer. That's of course Digger. So there you go. Anyways, let's get into the top 5, which is Maggie Gyllenhaal as a director, directing a film about a Bonnie and Clyde version of Frankenstein and The Bride, but leaning towards The Bride, is a fascinating one. This one, of course, has Christian Bale and, of course, has Jessie Buckley as The Bride. I don't know if this movie is going to be any good. I mean, I'm hoping it's good because it's Maggie Gyllenhaal, and I hope for the best when it comes to her as a director. But the trailer is a pretty aesthetically pleasing trailer. It's a very well put together trailer. It's very interesting looking. Jessie Buckley's kind of makeup, I'm sure, is in line for contention of best makeup for the Oscars. I don't know if it's any good. I haven't heard any word of mouth of it, but I think it's a very intriguing premise. I think Jessie Buckley is a very talented actress. We all know about Christian Bale and his abilities as an actor. And yeah, I am looking forward to this movie. I like I said, I love this trailer. I really do. I think it's a really fascinating one. The fact that, the bride questions who she is, when she was killed. It actually does some back history and deals with the bride of Frankenstein lore a little bit, and kind of twisting on its end with the Bonnie and Clyde stuff. So we'll see. Like I said, it's in my top 5 for a reason. I love Maggie Gyllenhaal as an actress. I'm hoping for the best, like I said, and we'll see. So at number 5 is The Bride, which leads to number 4. So don't get mad at me. This is not a condemnation of Christopher Nolan as a director. At this point, he is so talented at what he does that everything he puts out is going to be highly anticipated. Clearly, everybody loved Oppenheimer because it almost made $1 billion on a movie that is about people talking. I mean, there's more to it than that, but people talking. So The Odyssey is a hugely budgeted, highly anticipated movie, probably highly anticipated for a lot of people, probably number 1 for a lot of people. I'm not putting it in my top 4. I'm not putting it in my top 1 of this list because there's a couple other films I'm anticipating more, but any of these top 4 could be number 1 just on a different year and stuff like that. The Odyssey looks grandeur in scale. I hear the prologue that pops up in the Avatar screenings is incredible. The trailers are incredible. The set pieces look incredible. It looks like one of the most ambitious things that Christopher Nolan has ever done, outside of Inception, which I think is very ambitious. I have a lot of faith in Christopher Nolan's going to deliver. He's delivering in July like he always does. It's going to make a lot of money. It's probably going to be $1 billion movie. And yeah, I mean, and there's not much else to say. It has a great cast with, like, Tom Holland and Matt Damon and John Barenthal and stuff like that. So we'll see. Once again, not that I don't anticipate this movie. Clearly, it's in my top 5 for a reason. I just anticipate some other films more, just because they kind of surprise me in that kind of sense. So there you go. So at number 4 is, of course, the film that is The Odyssey, and it leads to number 3, which is. So number 3 is, of course, like The Odyssey, is Denis Villeneuve's third film in the Dune franchise, which is based off Messiah, which I know a little bit about, but I've never read. I don't know kind of the machinations of it, but I'm clearly anticipating it for a reason. Denis Villeneuve has proven himself, like Christopher Nolan, as being a director who's very talented, who's very unique at what they do, and whether this movie succeeds, whether it needs to be really to happen, it remains to be seen. But for a movie that is based off 2 other movies from a director that did the other 2 movies that were really well regarded, that were really well put together, I am really excited for this movie. I'm really excited to see what he is capable of doing, what Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya and Florence Pugh are going to put together with this movie. But once again, it's not number 1 because I'm pretty much expecting it to be great. So we'll see how it plays out. But that leads into my top 2. And number 2 is. So this was my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year. Lord and Miller are very talented directors. Some of the best working today, to be fairly honest. They're the funniest directors working today. They clearly know what they were doing. They're clearly justifiably taken off the Solo project. But I just recently, in the last couple months of this recording, read Project Hail Mary, and I think it's a well put together, fascinating, great romp of a story from Andy Weir. The trailers do 100% justice on it. I think it's going to have the flair of course, Lord and Miller. And I think it's going to be a really fun popcorn film. Whether it's going to be like the best movie ever, probably not. But I think it's a fun story of friendships between different, worlds and civilizations, and trying to save the world off of, microbiology issue that has Ryan Gosling playing the main character. So I won't spoil too much. It has a great story, has a great payoff, and for number 2 is Project Hail Mary. So there you go. So that leads to number 1, which is. This one is probably a surprise for most people because they probably have never heard of John Wilson or have not watched How To with John Wilson. I just recently learned that he is coming out with a documentary similar to his How To, which is called The History of Concrete. This is premiering at Sundance. I want to see this movie really badly because John Wilson is one of the most talented documentarians who makes swerves and left turns like no other director can do. His stories are dry. He's very witty at what he does. He's very talented. And I think he knows how smart and kind of creative he can be, because if you watch any of his how-to documentaries or whatever, they're very funny and they go into weird places. There's one about scaffolding, which goes into a complete 180 degree when it comes to what you're watching. And The History of Concrete is just something I'm sure is going to be great. It's very weird to see a documentary as my number 1 because, like I said, Spielberg's laying right there. But Disclosure Day is something I'm going to see, but it's not anticipated like History of Concrete is. So hopefully, hope for the best. I expect nothing less from John Wilson. If this movie sucks, I'm going to be very disappointed. But it'll be out at Sundance, and the reviews will be out. I'm sure it's going to get very highly glowing reviews. So for my number 1 is The History of Concrete, which I expect to go into many different directions, many different ways and storytelling elements. And that's my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year. So there you go. But with that said, that is going to be my most anticipated list of the year. I do appreciate you watching. There's also stuff, like I said, Disclosure Day. There's, Mortal Kombat 2. There's Clayface. There's, other stuff. Like I said, other stuff coming out. Avengers Doomsday, which I'm not looking forward to. But for this year, there's a lot of stuff, like I said, that is not on the list yet that I'm sure I will love. I'm sure Neon and A24 will put out some great movies this year. And that's my most anticipated of 2026. So let me know in the comments below what you think is your most anticipated movie. Give me a list of top 10 if you're interested. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to doing more reviews for you. I do appreciate you watching as always. But as always, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys for a great year of 2026 movies. Peace out, guys.